on formal emails, or the kind of emails you might use at work. And of course, sometimes they're formal, sometimes they're informal. I think quite often they're formal, but quite often they're informal. So it really is 50-50 here. And you want to be sure which style you're going to use, of course. Now, which style you choose really is up to you. I don't actually work in a business, as you might, I work for myself. And so I'm not often using business emails, if I'm honest, apart from to students, but I have a very informal relationship with my students. And so you don't see much formal writing in my emails. However, many people out there do need to use formal language in their emails. And I want to show you the question, first of all, that I was asked before we even look at these email phrases. I was asked the following question, and I'll have to share his Skype. Hopefully you can see this okay. Can everybody see this okay? Yeah, I hope that you can. Now you can see this. This was the question that I got from Zhenya. Hi, David. Should be a comma there, strictly speaking, before David, but very few people put it in, I must admit. And we're going to talk about precisely that in a second. So Vitaly's put it in there. Good morning, Vitaly. There is a comma before Dave. Yeah, technically speaking. But I must admit, in email correspondence, very few people put hi, comma, name. But we'll talk about that in a second. So Zhenya's question was, could you check which one is better for an official letter? And then he's used a colon absolutely correctly. It would be very helpful if your company arrange, or it would be very helpful if your company arranges. So this is a question about subjunctive, and the student was well aware of that. Clearly, he knows very well what subjunctive is, because if you say your company arranged, that's subjunctive, and if you say your company arranges, that's indicative. That's the normal form, okay? Now, subjunctive does sound very formal, very posh, very polite, in my opinion. Yeah, it's certainly a formal form. And I would also add that the Americans, in my opinion, they want subjunctive more often than the Brits. And what I mean is, if you can use subjunctive, in America, very often you must use subjunctive. In all of their Ivy League universities, that's the style they want to see. And I assume in their business letters as well, especially if you're dealing with important clients, that you ought to use subjunctive as well. So subjunctive, something important to get your head around, to wrap your head around, if you're going to write formal letters, simply because it does make you sound much more formal. So what did I suggest anyway? I've been talking about this, this question. Now, first thing I mentioned is, isn't that second conditional? You know, it would be very helpful if your company arranged. And I think it is. I think it's still subjunctive, but I think that second conditional does sound better here, guys. It would be very helpful if your company arranged. With the would, I feel as though we need the past. If it were a will, I feel as though we could use the present. Yeah, but with a would, I feel as though we really do need the past. It would be helpful if your company arranged. And it is still referring to a hypothetical future when you do that. Okay, so that was the first thing I suggested. But then we had a little bit more of a talk, and you can see we had a discussion here. And and I explained that second conditional is used for hypothetical future. Yeah, if I were going on holiday next week, I would bring my laptop. That's all about the future, hypothetical future. So I then suggested this. It would be very helpful if your company were to arrange additional meetings with the representatives like this. Now, it's still subjunctive because we've got company were instead of company was. So it's certainly subjunctive, and I think subjunctive is rather appropriate for a formal email, a formal business email. Let me find the screen that I'm sharing. There it is. And I like were to. This is just like when people say, today you are to. Now, it's very formal. Personally, I never speak like that in the classroom. But I remember when I worked abroad that all of the teachers in the English department would start their classes like this. They would say, today you are to look at page 57. And then we are to do exercise 6. Now, I don't speak like that because it's too formal for me, if I'm honest. It's a very formal way of speaking. But in a formal business email, I think it's really appropriate to say something like, it would be very helpful if your company were to arrange. Now, why do we want to use subjunctive and why are we making it wordier? Well, partly because being polite in English very often means being wordy, especially super polite. Think about expressions like, if you would be so kind. Yeah, these expressions are really quite long. Would it be at all possible, if you don't mind? The longer you kind of make the polite phrase, the more polite it gets very often. Yeah. Now, the reason why I want subjunctive here, or I think subjunctive sounds very polite, is because it is the formal version for when you're making requests. And this is a request, yeah, requests. What are the other times we use subjunctive? Let's have a quick look. Suggestions, requirements, demands, requests, that kind of thing. So it is a good thing to learn about if you want to do formal emails. You really ought to be thinking about subjunctive too. Okay, now let's stop sharing this screen because I did find a good website for formal email communication and informal email communication, and you need to know both, you really do. One more thing though about this word too, the reason why subjunctive, the reason why I think this sounds good is because you're not making a demand, yeah? If you use imperatives like arrange additional meetings with the representatives, you are giving somebody an order. Yeah, imperatives are orders, and orders are good for subordinates, maybe. Yeah, if you've got people below you in the company, maybe you do want to give them an order. But if you're talking to another company where they're not your subordinates, they're your colleagues, and you need to work together and you need to communicate well to make sure that you work well together, then, most of the time you probably don't want to order them. I'll never forget teaching abroad. At the beginning, I found it really odd that so many of the children said, "Give me a pen." There's nothing that sounds more rude than giving somebody an order, an adult an order when you're a child. So if you're a youngster or an adult and you're saying things like, "Give me," yeah, instead of "Can I have," I guarantee that people will listen to you and think, he sounds really rude. Yeah, because it does sound rude in English to say "give me" instead of "can I have." And I think that this is related to what we're talking about here, because we're using subjunctive to make sure that we don't give an order. Instead of arrange additional meetings with the representatives, we use this wordy phrase of, it would be very helpful if your company were to arrange. Yeah, and it makes it much more polite. It's not a demand. It's a request. It's a very polite request. And it shows that you respect the other people that you are talking to. You're not going to order them. You're going to guide them with some advice, with some suggestions. Yeah. And so remember that to be polite in English, you mustn't order people around. It's not good. You only can order subordinates around. And I think that that's useful at work, but some of you will probably already know this, be aware of this. Let's try now a different screen. Let's try the following Chrome tab, just because I thought it was a good one. 62 business email phrases to start using right now, some of which are formal and some of which are informal. So let's have a look. But please do find out what you should be using, what you want to use with your audience, with the people that you're writing to. If it's friends, if you've got a really close relationship and it's not business to business, but perhaps a colleague, then maybe you'll want informal. Yeah, maybe you'll want informal. Certainly I use informal with all of my students all the time. Yeah, because I know them quite well. I don't need to talk to them formally. And I think that it's good to, well, I think it sounds friendly and well, of course it does sound friendlier to write in an informal way. Formal sounds a little bit cold and unfriendly. But still, that's the style you use when you're dealing with people in another country. You don't know them very well and you want to be polite. So I'll need some examples, Shaheen, if you want to ask about causative. Give me some examples so that I can see if they sound correct. But please do write on the screen. I am watching what people write. I am reading what people write on the screen at the same time. So let's have a look at these business email phrases to start using right now. Now, it begins with the beginning. It begins at the beginning, you'll be pleased to know. Dear, now, I want to make it really clear here with hi. This one actually should have a comma after the hi. However, 99.999% of people do not put a comma after hi before their name. I've looked at this for a very long time and they do not. Yeah. In England, I think, especially in the UK, very few people get told that they need a comma before the noun of direct address. I never got told about it at school. It's bizarre because it's a really clear, obvious, easy reason to use a comma. I mean, easy to understand. It's comprehensible, and it's rarely taught in UK schools. I think in primary school, it is often taught. And then at senior school, nobody gets told about it. Everybody forgets about it. So do be aware that hi, comma, and then the name is the correct way of doing it. But hi is a very informal greeting. And so very few people put that comma in, even after the name. Very few people put that comma in, but really it should be hi, comma, name, and then comma if there's no other punctuation or full stop. But very few people write like that. And so I have to tell you that most people say hi and then the name, and they don't use any punctuation, just like that. Yeah. Still, with dear, the correct way to punctuate it is, of course, with a comma after the name, because dear is an adjective here describing the person. They are a dear person, like a dear friend, dear John, comma, and then the rest of the sentence. And that comma's there for the noun of direct address. Okay. Greetings is suggested here if you don't know the name of the recipient. Okay, that's clear. And hi everyone, hi guys is possible when you are emailing a group of people, but it's very informal. Hi, I want to make that clear. Hi is informal, dear is formal. Okay. Then the next line which they suggest is I hope you, and it's true that very often we start an email with a message of hope. Yeah, something positive. And so we say something very often about the person. We say something like, I hope you are well, or I hope all is well, or I hope you had a great weekend, a great day. I hope you enjoyed your vacation. I hope you feel better soon if you know that the person has been sick recently or has been off work. And I hope you enjoyed the, I don't know, whatever it is, the exhibition, or I hope you enjoyed the whatever it is that you're discussing. So that's one way to start. But another way is I am writing to you about. Yeah, and this is a good way to introduce the topic of the email. I am writing to you about. Or we could put it like this. We could say, it's David Nichols here from Skype Lessons. Yeah, whatever your company is and whatever your name is, you could put it like that. I am writing to ask, to inquire, to let you know, to confirm, to invite you to update you on, to ask for. Yeah, all of these make it very clear, this nice, clear style of what exactly you want. And you do want to get to the point straight away, I think, most of the time. And bear in mind that many of these, ask, inquire, these are subjunctive verbs. I mean, here's a quick list of, it's a very small list, but quick list of situations when you might want subjunctive. Advise that, ask that, demand that, insist that, propose that. With all of these, you can use subjunctive. And I mention it because it is worth thinking about in a formal email, especially if you're dealing with American clients. The Americans are very careful with subjunctive, and they certainly still use it. In the UK, I think that we don't worry so much about grammar. I really do. I don't think we, well, of course, you shouldn't worry about grammar, but I don't think we think about it as much as the Americans. And so the Americans are trying to hold on to subjunctive and keep it. In the UK, I think we're happy just to see it disappear. Okay, let's come back to the next one. So, might I take a moment of your time too? This is quite a polite, formal phrase if you want to, start a sentence. Might I take a moment of your time to suggest or to recommend or to ask that you and subjunctive, yeah, or to ask that your company and subjunctive. I am reaching out because, so I'm getting in touch because it's quite informal reaching out. Yeah, I'm reaching out to you because, so it's quite an informal choice of words. That's something you want to be aware of. Okay, I read your article about out and I couldn't help thinking about, so this is personalized when you want to talk about something that you've noticed. Congratulations on blah, blah, blah. I'm sure it's inspiring to see how this can help. So this is when you want to congratulate. Obviously, a lot of the time you want to give thanks for something. You want to be grateful. You want to show your gratitude. So you say, thanks for letting me know, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for your understanding and patience. Thank you for your email about. Thanks for sending, asking about, attending. Thank you for reaching out to me. So we've got this good, it's informal, but it's a good way of saying thanks for getting in touch. Thanks for contacting me. Thanks for your feedback on, or thanks for your suggestion. Okay, so do be grateful and polite. And if you need to apologize for anything, you can say something like this: please accept our apologies for any inconvenience caused. And you could make this stronger. You could say, please accept our sincere apologies. Sincere collocates with apologies very well. Please accept our sincere apologies for any inconvenience caused. Okay. Okay, just a quick friendly reminder that this is very informal. Just a friendly reminder that, just a quick reminder that, remember that this is for informal. Well, when you want to remind somebody about something in an informal way. Let's keep going. I wanted to update you on something like that. I wanted to update you on the progress of the project. I wanted to update you on the sales figures for this quarter. Yeah, it's another way of telling somebody that you want to put them in the picture. Yeah, I'd like to inform you that this is formal-ish. Yeah, I'd like to inform you that. Compare this with very informal. Just a quick heads up. A heads up is a warning. I think I've done this before, guys. A heads up is a warning. So if you give somebody a heads up, you're giving them a warning about something, not necessarily something negative, but you're alerting them to some kind of information. Okay, and I hope you find this helpful. That's nice and clear. I'm sending you blah, blah, blah as a PDF file. I've attached blah, blah, blah for your review. That's very formal. Could you please sign the attached document? Now, notice it's not sign the attached document and send it back. That would be the imperative. That would be maybe a way of talking to subordinates. But if you're talking to another business and they're your equals, then certainly start with, could you please sign the attached document? If you want to make it even more formal and more polite, it would be very helpful if you signed the attached document. That's possible as well. Or it would be very helpful if you were to sign the attached document. But that's super polite. I want to make it clear, super polite, probably overly polite, maybe even not necessary for a lot of your communication. Please see the information below for more details about. That's pretty formal. That's good. Here's the document you asked for, or that we discussed. Yeah, it's not pretty formal or no. More information is available at the following website, or on, I would say on that website, on skypelessons.com. Yeah, well, definitely on for website. More information available on Facebook, on Twitter, on you. Not at, guys, not at. That's the first mistake this website has made. Apart from that, it's very good. Please feel welcomed. Well, I mean, I would say, please feel welcome to, yeah, please feel welcome to get in touch with the CEO, or please feel welcome to come and visit the company, yeah, in a few months' time. So you could do it like that. But could you please is a formal way of making requests. Always could you, guys. Never just the imperative. I really do warn you never to use the imperative unless you are giving orders to subordinates. I'd appreciate it if you could. Notice the wordier it is, the more politeful it is. It would be very helpful if you could send me very formal, very polite. Please keep me informed, posted, updated. If you want one that's really informal, in the loop. Yeah, please keep me in the loop on, but that's very informal. Please keep me posted. Please keep me informed. Please keep me updated. If possible, I'd like to know more about. Okay, so please let me know is very common in business emails. Please let us know. Please let me know. But it's quite informal. This, yeah, this is informal. I'd be happy to. If we can be of any further assistance, please let us know. That's formal, a very formal way of offering additional help. Let me know if you need any help. It's okay. This is informal because of the let me know. Let me know is informal. Please do not hesitate to contact me. Very formal. Please feel free to contact me to get in touch. Pretty formal. Unfortunately, this is the way you give bad news, guys. Yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot. We are unable to. I'm afraid it will not be possible. This is, well, they say informal. I disagree. I'd say that's quite formal. I'm afraid it will not be possible to. Let's call it neutral. Let's call it neutral. We regret to inform you that is formal for sure and very polite. After careful consideration, we have decided not to move forward with your application. That's when you see this one, guys. When you don't get the job, you see this sentence. After careful consideration, we have decided to refuse or to reject you. Yeah, we have decided not to move forward with your application. That's very often what they write on those letters. It's against company policy too. Yeah, if you want to, it's pretty formal. And despite my best efforts, in spite of the fact that I have made a great effort, yeah, in spite of the fact that I have gone to great trouble, yeah, I have gone out of my way. And to finish, looking forward to hearing. Do notice it's a gerund, guys. I say it a lot, but I just seen this mistake a lot. Look forward to plus gerund. Always look forward to plus gerund. Yeah, please let me know if this works, if you are available, if that sounds good, if you can help, if you need to reschedule. This is informal because it'll let me know, okay? I look forward to seeing you, meeting you, okay? Any feedback you can give me on this would be highly appreciated. Do use these lovely adverb collocations, highly appreciated. Go to my website for practice on the adverb collocations if you're not very familiar with them. I would appreciate your help in this matter. Excellent, really quite formal. And friendly email phrases to finish off. Best regards. I tend to use all the best in mine, and I think it's a colloquial, informal way of saying goodbye, in my opinion. But if you want more formal, then sincerely or yours sincerely, is far more formal. Cheers is obviously incredibly informal. Yeah, cheers is something you say when you're clinking glasses, but it's also, we use it like thank you, or I do, especially in this area where I live in the UK. A lot of people say cheers like thank you. Have a great weekend, weekday, night, very informal, and probably the worst thing in the whole on the whole website, stay safe. Don't even consider saying this to me, guys. If you've ever finished the lesson and think, oh, I need to wish Dave safety or security, I don't like this way of finishing anything. You've only seen it in the last year. It became fashionable about 18 months ago. March 2020 is when people started writing stay safe at the end of emails or saying this at the end of conversations. But personally, when I hear somebody say this to me, I want to slap them in the face. I really do. I want to say, snap out of it. You're in some kind of hypnotic trance. My life is not in danger. I am okay. I am safe. Anyway, I'll start ranting if I talk about that particular way of saying goodbye to somebody. So never say that to me, guys. If you're one of my students and you say stay safe, I will be very cross. I certainly won't be cheerful about it. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I think I'll do a vocabulary lesson in a second. So if you hang around, you might be able to catch the vocabulary lesson. But thanks for all of the support. Please like, subscribe, whatever. Go to my website if you want to make sure you always have access to my lessons. And I hope to see you all soon.